Hey everybody, welcome back to Faraday Research, and it is Wednesday night, or actually no, it's Tuesday night, and I'm doing some testing here, and here's my power input, 32 volts at 0.08 amps. Got it hooked up to my 16 volt capacitor bank. I'm charging it. And I got it hooked up to my 300 watt inverter. Now check this out. It's sustaining 10 volts. And I'm putting 32 volts at 8.08 amps. So give or take, say 4 watts. I'm going to bump up the power because I'm going to get it up a bit. As you can see, I got my background now. Got that hooked up to my TV. So I'm going to charge up the capacitor bank a little bit. Check that out. You like that? So that'll be playing in the background of my videos now. Got it hooked up to my my TV, and I did a little video to show graphics and my whatever. I can do it on the screen now, so it looks a little better. I got a new table set up. So I got my testing bed here. So what I've been doing is I want to run something practical and actually run a capacitor bank to run an inverter. So it works. I got one light hooked up. I'm just going to crank the power here a little bit. I'm going to get it up to about 8 volts. So if I keep it about 200 milliamps, I'm going to keep it right there. And now I'm going to add load to it. So let's go. So that's 11 watts. Look at this. Okay, so right there is about 30 watts. It's sustaining the load. I got about 10 volts in the capacitor bank. Let's go higher. Let's go all the way. So there's 40 watts lit right now. And I seem to be sustaining it. It's running 32 volts at 200 milliamps power input, so you can do the math. And look at this. I'm going to turn the power up just to get a little bit more charge in the capacitors. Let's go up to 400 milliamps. So you about 6 or 7 watts. But I'm powering 40. That's 40 watts. It's running the inverter. It's running the capacitor bank. So that's my output voltage that's in the capacitor bank, 10.7 volts. So right now I got it running a little high at about 400 milliamps at 3.26 amps, or sorry, 32 volts at 400 milliamps. So it's maybe about 8 watts. And I'm running 40. And the capacitor bank is holding it. See what I'm getting at? So still, 400 milliamps is really nothing. It's the voltage. If I were to put, say, 60 volts or whatever into this, I could probably get this down to maybe 100 milliamps and run 40 watts of lights, which I'm sustaining right now. Look, it's not even moving. So yeah, so this is definitely a big win tonight. If you have to subscribe to the channel, bottom right hand corner, give me a thumbs up if you like the video. I hope you like my background I got now. I did that on the weekend, so now I have a little bit of a visual in the background to make my videos look a little bit better. Yeah, so you know what? It's even going up in charge. Now it's 10.9. So I'm running it hard. Technically, I'm running this very hard. 40 milliamps. So yeah, it's like maybe about 8-9 watts maybe, and I'm sustaining 40. That's 40 watts. So I'm going to turn the power down just a bit. I'll get it down to about, let's get it at 200 milliamps, half the current. So half the current, I got 10.8 volts in the capacitor bank. It's running this inverter, and I'm running 40 watts of light bulbs. So now you guys understand what I'm getting at. Spark gap switch kills lens lock. Okay, it's still pulling a load, but the thing is, I'm maintaining it. 32 volts at 200 milliamps is nothing. It's very little, amount of power, right? So, yeah, that's what I'm really getting at. So, yeah, I hope you guys get something out of this. So, let's try to get my screen going here again. There we go. I love that. I got my visuals going now and everything. So yeah, it's maintaining the power. 10.6 volts DC. That's what's in the capacitor bank. I'm running at 32 volts at 200 milliamps. You can do the math. It's going to be way on. Maybe I can't see it being more than 10 watts, really. And I'm sustaining 40 watts. These guys are going a little dim, so yeah, the point is, the higher voltage you put in, because you got a load, this capacitor bank can handle 16 volts at 500 milliamps, or sorry, 500 farad. So the higher voltage I go, the faster that thing's going to charge up with less current. All right, it's not going to damage it because I got a load on it. Because I got a load on it, I'm not worried about blowing up the cat. So yeah, you can see it's climbing again. I got about 380 milliamps going in. Sounds like a lot, but it's not, because the capacitor bank is getting charged, and it can handle that load. Like, look, it's amazing. It's 40 watts. So I could even back off on it now. So I could get it down to, say, we'll leave it at 140 milliamps. It's still running because I got some capacitance there. Now, I also noticed I was able to make a bit of a gain with this guy here. This one is 4000 UF at 100 volts DC. So I could even add this to the circuit to get that little quick extra punch that the load might actually go down. So I might have to test with that. So I would hook it up in series, charge this guy first. That would feed power to the 16 volt capacitor. And yeah, we could go from there and see if it sustains it and gets my amperage down. But irregardless, 150 milliamps, it's nothing. It's nothing. It's the amount of voltage that's going in. It's the Newman principle. Big ass coil. You can power stuff a lot easier with less amperage. Alright? So, I did the math on it. To run 40 watts at these light bulbs rating, I should be producing 2.8 amps. Does that look like 2.8 amps? Not even close. So, it's pretty amazing. Like, it's kind of blown me away a bit because I didn't know if this was going to work or not. So now this is my new setup. I got my new table here. I can do all my testing. I got a lot more room on the side here, so eventually I'll get my oscilloscope hooked up in my computer so I can start documenting all the waveforms and everything. So yeah, all in all, I'm quite impressed with what's going on. So I think I have to even upgrade from this. I have to go a bigger coil again and higher voltage. How's that for a graphic? I like that. So, yeah. Tell me what you think. Questions, comments below. Give me a thumbs up for the video. And we'll see everybody soon.